gotta go. We have to go right back.
In the not-too-distant future, climate change and famine push Earth toward an extinction event. Riots and protests dominate the streets, and by 2024 too, humanity reaches a breaking point. A fleet of 42 ships called the Ark is set to carry 300,000 survivors to a new planet, dubbed New Earth, located in a distant solar system. The rest of the 19 billion people left on Earth are doomed. Noah isn't one of the lucky ones chosen to board the ships, but his pregnant girlfriend, Haley, is. Together, they hatch a plan to sneak onto the last ship. However, they're quickly separated by guards. Haley is dragged inside while chaos erupts as desperate people storm the fence, and the guards are forced to open fire. On board, Haley listens as her father, Admiral Kiernan, gives a welcome speech. Her attention shifts when she spots Noah running toward her. She introduces him to her father but hides that he's her boyfriend, presenting him only as someone who helped her get to the ship. Kiernan, already furious about her pregnancy, would likely become violent if he knew Noah was the father. As preparations are made to put passengers into cryo-sleep, only the crew, guards, mechanics, doctors, and janitors remain awake. Noah, pretending to be a janitor, stays behind and says a final goodbye to Haley before she is placed into stasis. The crew begins preparing for the quantum jump, and Noah accidentally sits in Clay's assigned spot. The ship jumps to hyperspeed and arrives in another galaxy within seconds. However, due to time dilation, 30 years have passed on Earth, meaning everyone left behind is dead. Afterward, the crew gathers for a meal and watches as the guards find a stowaway and throw him out of the airlock. Commander Stanley reminds the team that they have 182 days before reaching New Earth, and until then, he's in charge since Kiernan is also in stasis. That night, Noah discovers he's sharing a bunk with Clay, who has no interest in becoming friends. The next morning, Noah visits Haley as she sleeps, but Clay interrupts him via hologram, reminding him to get to work. As days pass, Noah works tirelessly as a janitor while the rest of the crew plays cards and relaxes. Unnoticed by the crew, something in the shadows is watching them. One evening, Noah spots Clay and another crew member sneaking around with mysterious containers. Soon after, an alarm sounds. Someone tried to access the reactor, which only the Admiral can enter. Stanley checks it out and hears an unsettling noise from the ceiling, but nothing happens. Growing suspicious, Stanley asks Noah if he's seen anything unusual, but Noah keeps Clay's activities a secret. Stanley warns Noah that rebels opposed to colonizing a new planet may try to sabotage the mission, urging him to report anything strange. Later, Noah accidentally spills a chemical called moxicell, which burns a hole through the table. Meanwhile, Shady drinks in his room, unaware of a strange creature slipping into his bottle. After drinking, he feels sick, but shares a smoke with Blue. However, Shady's pain worsens, and as Blue tries to calm him down, Shady suddenly explodes, covering the room and Blue in blood. Something in the blood then attacks Blue. Back with Noah, he finishes his tasks and tries to contact Clay, but gets no response. He goes to find him and catches Clay mixing moxicell. Suddenly, Clay's hologram appears, startling Noah, who runs and bumps into Teak. Noah reports Clay is making a bomb, but Teak reveals he's on Clay's side. Together, they capture Noah. Instead of harming him, Clay's team forces Noah to drink moonshine. They've been secretly making alcohol, hiding it from Stanley, who enforces strict rules against drinking. Later, the crew throws a birthday party for Ortega and drinks heavily, and Stanley inevitably finds out about the alcohol. After the celebration, Ortega separates from the group to search for Blue, only to discover him welding by himself. When Blue turns around, his face is horribly disfigured, and he grabs Ortega, slamming her head repeatedly against the wall. Meanwhile, Noah attempts to access the ship's computer to alter his data. Clay catches him in the act, and Noah admits he's the one who got the Admiral's daughter pregnant. Before Clay can decide on a punishment, Stanley calls everyone over, announcing that he's found Shady's remains. With Blue missing and Ortega gone after looking for him, Stanley suspects Blue might be responsible, though Clay remains doubtful. The crew starts searching the ship to find their missing comrades. Noah notices Teak staring at the reactor for an unsettling amount of time. Just then, Clay discovers Ortega dead. The others continue their search, and Noah eventually finds Blue, welding shut the door to the Admiral's quarters. Noah alerts the crew, and they rush over with weapons, but Clay tries reasoning with Blue first. Unfortunately, words fail, and Blue attacks Shu, killing him almost instantly. The crew quickly opens fire, taking Blue down as well. Afterward, they move the bodies to the infirmary for Susan to perform an autopsy, while Stanley locks the remaining crew in their rooms. As Susan examines Blue, she notices something dissolving him from the inside out. She collects samples that look disturbingly unfamiliar, and the ship's computer is unable to identify them. When she reaches inside Blue's body, she finds black goo, but no organs at all. Meanwhile, Teak manages to access the security footage of Shady's death. Once Stanley sees the footage, he releases Clay, and the group heads to see Susan. She explains that a parasite consumed all of Blue's organs and took control of his body, and that this parasite is now loose on the ship. She also did a head count and discovered that Noah is a stowaway. Stanley is enraged, but Clay defends Noah, so Stanley settles for hitting Noah as punishment. The crew concludes that someone aboard must have brought the parasite to sabotage the mission. Clay suggests waking up the Admiral, but Stanley refuses, pointing out that no one can access his quarters. Stanley then decides it's time to throw Noah out for being a stowaway, but before they can act, Teak notices the bodies are missing. Suddenly, zombified versions of the bodies attack the crew. Ortega tackles Noah, while Zhu goes after Teak, who fires his weapon to no effect. Blue shoves Susan and Clay, and Zhu overpowers Teak, but Stanley steps in and opens fire on Shu, though his bullets do nothing. Shu reaches out to kill him with a single blow. Ortega is about to kill Noah when Susan grabs a weapon and starts shooting, holding off the attackers long enough for the crew to escape. As they run through the corridors, they realize the other cabins are being unlocked, something only Stanley should be able to do. It's then revealed that Stanley, now a zombie, is leading the other undead to infect the remaining crew. Clay's group takes refuge in the Moonshine Room, horrified as they hear the sounds of their fellow crew members being slaughtered and transformed into monsters. When the zombies come after them, Clay finds a flamethrower and uses it to burn them, triggering the fire suppression system and filling the area with fog. The zombies disappear into the mist, and the group cautiously exits the room. As they navigate the fog-filled corridors, they encounter Lincoln, who quickly joins them just as a zombie attacks. They manage to take down the creature, but another grabs Teak and drags him into the fog. Clay rushes in to save him, and the others provide cover fire, allowing both men to return safely. Afterward, Lincoln suggests using the escape pods, but since they aren't near New Earth, the group opts to head to the security bay instead. Lincoln, however, reaches a pod and launches it, but as it departs, a zombie is revealed to have snuck aboard and kills him. Back with Clay's group, they reach the security bay just as Stanley appears and grabs Clay, attempting to kill him with a mutated tongue. Noah suddenly emerges, shooting Stanley down before retreating with Clay into the security bay, where they lock the door behind them. For the next few hours, the zombies keep pounding on the door, and most of the team is ready to give up. However, Noah refuses to leave Haley behind. He suddenly notices the air ducts and realizes he can reach the Admiral through them, so he starts crawling inside while Clay's hologram guides him in the right direction. As Noah carefully moves through the ducts, trying not to make any noise, Teak confesses to Clay and Susan that he was the one who brought the infection aboard, believing it would quickly kill everyone. Teak reveals he's one of the rebels who believe humanity doesn't deserve a second chance. Enraged, Clay throws him against the wall, vowing to deal with him later. Just then, the zombies spot Noah and try to grab him through the vent grills, but Noah kicks away their hands and keeps moving until he finally reaches the room with the Admiral. Lacking access to the computer, Noah uses a crowbar to force open the cryo chamber. The team explains everything to Kiernan and begins interrogating Teak, who admits that humans brought the parasite back. Kiernan wakes up his team and realizes Noah is the one who got Haley pregnant, promising to handle him later. Armed, the team heads down the corridor where the zombies are still trying to break down the door to the security bay. Some of the zombies turn to attack the team, while the others break into Clay's group. A shootout breaks out, and bit by bit, they begin taking down the horde. However, the zombies soon learn to dodge the shots and begin attacking directly. Everyone starts fighting hand to hand. Blue pursues Noah while some zombies close in on Teak to kill him. Both sides take losses in the fight. Blue eventually corners Noah in the supply room and starts beating him. Noah struggles to defend himself, but Blue tackles him to the ground. Just as Blue is about to deliver the final blow, Noah manages to grab the moxicell and throws it at Blue, killing him by disintegrating him. Afterward, Noah returns to the corridor, only to see that his team has lost the fight. Kiernan says a few final words for Haley and then detonates an explosive, wiping out all the zombies. Noah, Clay, and Susan think it's finally over, but at that moment, the remaining zombie body parts start reassembling themselves. The trio runs to retrieve the moonshine while the parts merge into a giant mutant that uses Kiernan's hand to open the reactor core door. Suddenly, the ship starts shaking, and the computer announces that the time to reach New Earth is rapidly decreasing. The zombie is overheating the reactor, which has been the parasite's goal all along. That's why Blue initially sought the Admiral. The parasite aims to reach New Earth and wipe out the remaining humans. After constructing a makeshift flamethrower from the moonshine, the trio heads out and begins burning down the zombies. However, the horde grows rapidly, as the infected passengers are now also joining in to help with the reactor. The trio takes down as many zombies as possible, but the horde is overwhelming. Clay urges Noah to find Haley and escape in a pod, while he and Susan hold off the attackers. Noah races off, dodging a few zombies, and makes it to the cryo chamber. He quickly wakes up Haley and arms her. The two then regroup with Clay and Susan, and together they attempt to reach the escape pod. However, a massive zombie mutant appears and kills Susan. In a rage, Clay tries to incinerate the monster, but it overpowers him as well. With only 15 days left until they reach New Earth, Noah and Haley rush toward the pod. They fend off a few more zombies and press on. Once they arrive, Haley climbs into the pod while Noah initiates the launch sequence. Just then, the giant zombie reappears. Noah blasts it with the moonshine thrower and shoots the fire suppression system to release a cloud of fog. Even with limited visibility, the monster manages to hit Noah, but he tumbles next to the control panel. After starting the launch, Noah steps out and uses the last of his moonshine to torch the creature, burning away all its mutations until only the parasite remains. Noah quickly joins Haley in the pod, and they receive a farewell message from Clay, who expels the pod from the ship before activating the self-destruct sequence, destroying all the zombies and the parasite in a massive explosion. Moments later, Noah and Haley land on New Earth, where they immediately encounter an infected child. As the kid approaches, they spot a huge creature in the distance, and the couple prepares for the next fight. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe.